Hi there, welcome to Floating in Books. These are my favorite fall palettes. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today I have a video all about my favorite fall palettes for you. It's fall, it's October, and I was like, you know what? I need to share some of my favorite fall palettes for sure. There's going to be a little bit of overlap with some of the grungy palettes that I did a favorites video for in August and that I ranked for you last month, because I do feel that a lot of grungy color stories are also some of my favorite fall color stories, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit and have some more neutrals in this because I tend to use quite a bit of neutral eyeshadow, and there's quite a lot actually in my grungy palette collection that is now discontinued. And also in this video, I just didn't want to overload you with a bunch of discontinued palettes. I have 5 here that are or are being discontinued that I still wanted to put in this video. But yeah, the other 15 palettes I have, but there's going to be a top 15 of palettes that, as far as I know, are still available that you could potentially still buy. So if you're looking for good eyeshadow to use this fall, maybe you already own these palettes, or maybe you were just looking for recommendations on what to buy next, then hopefully this video can be helpful. So like I said, I have 5 palettes here that are discontinued or that are being discontinued as we speak, but that I still personally love a lot. And this actually, like, some of these are also placeholders for certain of the, like, some of the grungy color stories that I tend to love. For some of those, I just have multiples in my makeup collection, and I don't want to, like, put everything into this video today. So that's why these are my top favorites, and you're gonna see, like, I love a good grungy green color story, and I just tested this out, but my friend Esther got me this because it is being discontinued. This is the Sydney Grace Mountain Trail palette. I just tested it out for you, so if you want to see the look I ended up doing with this, I actually wore this filming a couple of videos like a couple of weeks ago, and this was in my palette review video that went live on Thursday last week, so that's exactly a week ago from when you are watching this video. So yeah, this is beautiful. It has a really beautiful, like, grungy green with yellowy gold sort of color story. Perfect for fall. There is some warmth, but the greens in here aren't overly warm toned. They aren't also super gray leaning. They are great sort of neutral, cocky, olivey green shades, I would say, that make for the perfect grungy green color story that just goes with everything. So yeah, this is absolutely wonderful, and since I only just got it in, I just wanted to rave about it again. For sticking to the grungy green color story, I think I have put every single grungy green color story in this video today because I was like, the Nomad, I cannot, like, leave this one out because I still love this thing to pieces. I don't think it's still available. I haven't looked at the Juvia's Place website in forever. I'm gonna have to be really honest with you here. This is a beautiful color story though, and if it's still available, I would highly recommend it. You can actually, like, use these grungy greens, but it's got plenty of neutrals. I love the dark brown in here. This shimmer is amazing. The greens go really well with the yellow, or if you like something a bit of, like, just more warmth, you can use this. Shades like this are always a great idea as well. I just think that those are, like, quintessential fall colors, really, so I had to showcase them here. This one, I'm pretty sure, is discontinued, so that's why I'm putting it in this section of the video. It's my Melt Mary Jane. A lot of people were wondering why this wasn't in my, like, top 10 favorite grungy palettes. I feel this isn't grungy per se, it's more of a smoky eye palette for me, so that, to me, is a neutral. Like, smoky eyes are essentially done with neutral shades, and this is just the perfect smoky eye palette. We get these browns in really beautiful with these gray tones, and then these two sort of golden taupey green leaning shades make the palette. You can see I love this one because it's got a huge dent, because every single time I do a look with this, I use that shade. So this is a palette that I have selected for my Shop My Stash. You're gonna see that on Saturday. I'm doing that a little earlier than normal because I'm traveling this weekend and I wanted to make sure I have, like, good videos going up. So you will be seeing me selecting this one for my next Shop My Stash because I just feel I need to go back to this one ASAP. This one, I'm undecided whether I want to go back to it again for October or November. So I'm not using it yet, but I think this can be a fun one to, like, put in. But the Falling Colors from Catrice, I raved about this in like the minute it came out. It was such a stunning color story. I'm just sad it's discontinued, and it looks really warm toned, but if you sort of cover up that orange, you can see it's quite neutral, sort of berry leaning almost. That's what made the palette, and this is sort of very similar quality to those 18 pen Huda Beauty palettes, but then it was by Catrice. It was, I think, 15 euros at the drugstore, but it was very, very limited, so I still have one. I should have bought a backup for myself of this. I feel sad I didn't do it, but yeah. If this ever expires on me, it's gonna go into a makeup memory box because I love everything about it, from the velvety gold packaging to the color story inside it. This is a absolutely beautiful palette that I definitely will be going back to, I think, now to look at it again. But yeah, this is an oldie but a goodie for me. And then we have this guy, my ABH Subculture. I know I want to select it. I think I'm going to wait until November, though, to select it for fall. And I love using this palette with multi-chromes. So if you have some multi-chromes lying about as singles and you don't know what to do with it, but you do have colors like this, paired them together. They will go really well together. And these are especially beautiful shades to pair with jewel multi-chromes. So the multi-chromes that have like the black base to it and then shift to like a green or a purple, those are going to be perfect with it. And I love especially these really deep tones in it. Axis and Rowdy. I even know the names off the top of my head. I don't even have to look at the palette. But I love Mercury, as you can see, that has quite a bit of a dent. I like the green in here as well. Like, I tend to use these like 7 shades or so, the most, together with that green. I kind of skip the shimmers in here because those weren't the best. But yeah, I definitely love the mattes in here to sort of set up the look, create this like smoky, colorful vibe, and then just have a multi-chrome all over the lid. And that's how I end up using this palette. And I feel great using it every single time. The Druid from Fantasy Cosmetica is really similar to this. So if you never got this one, but you wanted this idea, but with better shimmers, get the Fantasy Cosmetica. That does the mattes you get in here that are the same level of intensity with the multi-chromes all in one palette. Then you don't need any separate multi-chromes if you don't have any. But I don't even know whether Fantasy Cosmetica still makes the Druid, but that was their first palette. So not sure if that one is still around, but if it is, and you wanted this, then try that one out. But yeah, so this is a placeholder for that because this is just my original, my first foray into these like kind of grungy color stories. I feel I definitely had other ones, but this one really drove it home for me. And then I would like to move on to my top 15 favorite fall color stories. I do a video like this every single year, so I leave a couple of the videos I've done previously in the description box down below. This is just an update. This is not foolproof. If you ask me tomorrow, I'd probably pick 15 different ones. That's just life, baby. But yeah, I've got some neutral bits here, but I also have some colorful things in. I think some of these you will see coming, but I just wanted to give it a fresh sort of look and update, and I definitely have some favorite palettes in here. There may be 1 or 2 that I'm not entirely sure are still available, though. Just so you know. But yeah, I do think that this has to make an appearance because we now all know that cool tones can be grungy too. It doesn't just have to be like warm tones with greens, as you will see in a sec. But this one, the Cheer Yep Fleeting or Floating Life, this thing has different names on different websites, so that's why I never know. And I don't really understand anything of the symbols on the back. It's just, I don't understand Chinese writing. I don't even know if this is like Mandarin or Cantonese. I don't even know. But this, oh, so beautiful. And it's grungy and deep and lovely and yummy and murky and yeah. And it has holographic shimmers in. So those are really beautiful too. These are easy to pick up with a brush. They blend beautifully, and it's got some more unique shades in here as well. I think the reason why I still like it for fall is because it does have that red in, and it kind of makes me like it just reminds me of Halloween in that sense. So that's why I think this is a perfect fall palette. And if you love your cool tones and you were looking for something a little bit grungy, but you know you don't like warm tones because they all look strange on you, try something like this. Trust me, you're gonna love it. Let's just get to the warm tones with the greens, because we already mentioned several of these palettes. The Gemini by Melt, I think they still do. Is Melt has gone back to stacks? What's up with that? because this is much better layout-wise. I hope they don't do like the Gemini as a stack next, because nobody needs that. But yeah, this is mine. The original Gemini. You can see I love the green in here. I use that one every single time I use this palette. But yeah, these kind of palettes, like I feel too many brands started doing them after Melt did this. So I have so many renditions of this in my makeup collection, but I had to promote the original again. I just love this thing to pieces. And I really enjoy the Melt formula as well. Something a bit more neutral again. I just featured this in another video this week already. I went back to this palette in September, but it's my Sigma Cool Neutrals. And the reason why I think this is perfect for fall is because it does have these like mustardy shades in. You know, these mustardy golds? I think that makes it perfect for fall. And this definitely has some deeper tones in. As I was using this again, I realized this is actually quite a deep palette. Perhaps a little bit too deep for me. There's only one like truly neutral crease shades that I can use. This skews a little bit too pinky purple. This skews too yellow for me. So that instantly makes it look a little bit more colorful. And all of these are just too deep for a crease shade, at least on my skin tone. If you have medium to deep skin, I think you're going to love this as a neutral palette. But if you are fair-skinned like me and you're looking for something that has the depth and the yumminess and it's neutrals, but it has a little bit of that grunginess, but without going overboard, I think you're going to like it. And I just think this makes for a really great fall palette because those pinky tones can work for fall, the cool tones can work for fall, and the warm tone neutrals can work for fall. So this is an excellent color story for the fall time as well, at least in my book. And where would we be without this guy? I thought that this was limited edition. Apparently it's not. It's still available on the Bella Beauté Bar website, so. Poison Garden, of course. Where would we be with my number one favorite grungy palette of the moment? I'm just waiting for all of the fall drops to be announced so that I can see if there's anything being released this year that I like better than this. So far, no look. This is still top of mind for me as my favorite sort of grungy color story. It does have some warmth, but for me, it's like this side of the palette, really. Like everything else that's not like this quad and the yellow. Like these three shades mainly. You know what I mean? Like this is just great. It's got like green tones, these brighter pops of blue, these really lovely, yummy, sort of cool tone, neutrally taupe leaning shades with a teal. We all know how I feel about a teal. That's one of my favorite shades for the fall time. I think that's why I like the ABH so much, because Axis is like one of the best teal mattes ever, period. It is messy, but if you want something less messy than the Poison Garden, and then of course these berry tones. So it's quite colorful. It's quite colorful. But if you're looking for a palette that can like mimic the colors you see outside on a dreary fall day, when the leaves have just started turning, it's this. Because these are the turning leaves. These are the gray cloudy skies with like the pops of blue for like the break in the clouds on the nicer days. And then this is sort of what you see in a lot of like foliage as well. So for me, this works really well as a fall color story as well. So I had to put it in here again. This is one where I'm like, is it still available? I don't know, because I haven't looked at Glamlight since like the start of the year. They like disappeared off the planet for me. They have been doing some releases, but nothing that has really captured my interest. But the Chucky palette, this was a Valentine's Day release, but I felt this could have been a fall release. It's what kicked off their horror series. I think they are continuing it for fall though. I've seen some like news being posted about it, but they just kind of kept doing the same color stories for a lot of those movies. But this was the original. If you want something deep, dark, grungy, that has all the plum tones in, you're going to love it. Essentially, this is going to look like you've got fresh blood dripping all over your face. It's very Halloween coded. I know. But you don't have to make it that way. Where with the Sigma palette, I felt like a lot of the crease shades were too deep for me. Here, you get 3 crease shades that perfectly go with a lot of the colors that are in the palette. So that's 3 looks. If I have a crease shade, I can create the look. Because something like this, I'm not going to put all over my lid. Something like this, I'm not going to put all over my lid. But I can blend it out and I can work with it provided that I have that crease shade. and this palette delivers. So even though this looks incredibly dark and intimidating, I felt I can do some really stunning looks with it, and it's mainly cool toned as well. We like that on this channel. And then another new in palette, and I was like, if I wanted to include some neutrals, Cozy Cafe by Sydney Grace. It has a really beautiful smoky eye in the bottom row. Like the Mountain Trail, I only just reviewed this for you guys last week. So if you want to hear all of my thoughts on and see the looks I did, that you can. And that video will have the swatches as well. But these pull a little bit of green toned. Really beautiful. And then of course you have those pinks, which looked really random to me at first, but now that I've played with it, I'm like, they actually work. And the green and the pinks together can work really well. The grays with the pinks together can work really well. So I think this is like a fall, like a really fun take on what like a fall neutral color story could be. And I instantly knew I wanted to put it in this video for that reason. So if you're looking for good neutrals for fall, Sydney Grace's Cozy Cafe can definitely be a good one. And it's already got a nice cup of coffee on there. And it definitely has the cozy vibes. And we love a bit of coziness in the fall time. Next up, a brand that some people sometimes think, but I thought you loved Nomad. I love Nomad, but it hardly ever makes it into a top 10 favorites for me because there's always something that I don't enjoy about it. Like either the color story doesn't quite come together, or I just have a lot of things already in that category that I like a little bit better. But in this category, of course, Ghost Town USA. I wasn't a huge fan of the new one, like the Witchy Salem one. Too similar to the things I already have, but this is beautiful. It's quite unique in my collection, and I like this is again mainly a neutral palette. We have neutrals here, some warmth, but most of it is quite like smack in the middle neutral, and then these cooler tone tealy greens. Half colorful, half neutral, everything mixes and matches, and these shades for fall. Like, even if you ignore this side of the palette, like, so beautiful. But these mix together for fall, so good. It's perhaps not the spookiest, which is why I went with the Chucky one instead, because I feel that's spookier than this one is. But this is so beautiful, and especially if you like a really lightweight formula, if you have a lot of texture on your lids, you want to try an indie brand, try Nomad, because they do a really thin, very easy to build formula. It's not going to be boom kapow pigment like with some other indie brands. I know that that's why a lot of people like indie brands, because it's boom kapow pigment. But if you're someone who struggles with shade like that, then definitely try Nomad. Give them a shot, because they do some really beautiful things that are great if you layer and build. These are very sort of more like artistic palettes, I feel. So maybe to some they're not going to be the easiest to use, but for me, I actually think that makes it easier to use, because I'm someone who prefers building and layering and sort of like seeing how shades come together that way, rather than like boom kapow pigment. So Nomad, Ghost Town USA, beautiful palette for fall. And then I just have some like itty bitty small things. I wanted to put in something super warm toned, and we all know my favorite warm tone palette is the Analog from Nabla. This is one of their cutie palettes. I also always select this for the summertime, because I love summertime, like warm tones in the summertime. That's like totally my thing. But I kind of transition the warm tones into fall, and then as the weather changes and I keep getting paler and paler, I struggle pulling off warm tones. Like, I need that hint of color that I have in my skin from the summertime to be able to pull something like this off. But in the wintertime, that's just completely gone. So if I want there to be a season for like colors like this and I can still pull them off, it's going to be right now. If I want to sort of like push myself and extend it a little bit further, then now is the time, you could say. And I think that warm tones for fall can be beautiful on a lot of people. I mean, if you look at color analysis, fall tends to be a more warm tone leaning color story, like color palette to begin with. So I definitely think that warm tones for fall can be beautiful, provided they suit you. For me, it's sort of borderline. I think October is like the last month that I could like wear something this orange. Come November, it's going to be a complete no-go, because then I get super duper pale and my skin looks almost like translucent, like bluey pink. So it's not gonna fly then. I don't feel there are necessarily like rules to makeup. You wear what you like, but yeah, if I want to feel like my best, then I wouldn't be selecting the Nabla Cutie palette past October 31st. But if you want some pumpkin oranges, they are definitely in there. Let me see. I also selected some things that I don't think I've ever put in a video like this before, but I was thinking Smokey Essentials by Dior. They still do this. This is from the Backstage range, and I bought this after trying the Silver Essentials and really liking it. But this Smokey Essentials for fall, can you see why? Like these rosewood sort of shades that it has. So beautiful. It does have cool tones in. It's like this minky brown shade in the middle. So, so beautiful. I kind of ignore this shade though. Like this one I don't love. And this is, again, if you do have textured lids, a great formula. This is quite thin. It's buildable, but nothing is going to be super shiny. Like nothing in here is going to give you metallic foily. It's more like satin shimmers. If it's already got shimmer, because there's quite a lot of matte in here. But this is a beautiful color story for the fall season, and I know I need to bust this one out sometime this month or next month. Next up is the LH Cosmetics Aim Higher palette, and there was just something about this. Once I had decided I needed to put some neutral palettes in, I was like, And this looks dark, but it's not super dark once it goes onto the lids. Looks are very deceiving with this. This, for instance, isn't even yellow. This is one of those, you know, if you look at the Glaminatrix sort of Cleona multichromes, and you have those white shimmers that have shifty shades to them, but this has a yellow base. The yellow, though, does disappear once it goes into your lids. Like, essentially, like, can I swatch this? So you can see? Like, you can see the yellow still there now, right? There's a little bit of yellow. But then when you actually, like, blend it and you look at the shade, oh, of course, it's, like, in a spot where you can see it. Oh, well, I should have swatched it on this side of my hand. But you can see it's essentially like a bluey pink. Like, it's blue, pink, almost like purple. And it's sheer. It doesn't have any sort of yellow left once it actually goes onto your lid. And this is beautiful in the inner corner. So this is one of those palettes where if you just do finger swatches with it as well, this formula doesn't do very well. But with brushes, oh my word. And of course, it has some beautiful taupes in, so I had to feature it here. It can be smoky if you want to. It doesn't have to be. But I feel that, especially with those browns and with the grays, it's just a really good neutral combination. I'm almost feeling like this could be a replacement for the Mary Jane. Like, I'm not even sure if this is still available because I don't get LH Cosmetics in my country. It's a Swedish brand. I got this on Lyko, I think, which is also a Swedish beauty website that ships, I think, across Europe. I think they even do international shipping. But yeah, this is very similar to the Mary Jane. They just don't have the, like, greeny tones that one has. But if you were looking into the Mary Jane and you wanted something like it and you can still get it, then this 9 pan can see you through, I think. Similar idea. And I know I love my green tones, so I had to put this in. This is by Girl Cult, though. Again, unsure this is still available. The Girl Cult stuff seems to sell, like, once it sells out, it's gone kind of idea. Again, no clue what this thing is called. It's just one of their 4 pans, and this happens to be the all shimmer version. This was a little bit pricey because it is all shimmer, but it has a holographic shimmer in here in this blue tone here. And then you have these stunning sort of like vibrant greens and this multi-chrome sort of shade. It's really beautiful, really foily. Yeah, it's a Chinese beauty brand, so I know that is like, some people go like, it's a Chinese brand, but so many, like, Bella Beauty Bar palettes are made in China. This way you cut out the middleman and you can actually get these sort of like fun shimmering things for like 15, 20, 25 euros. So especially if you find indie brand palettes to be too big, overwhelming, and too expensive, look into C beauty brands like Cheer Yep, Girl Cult. Haggard does some really beautiful things as well. And you can just cut out the middleman, and it's a far more cost-effective way, and a lot of their palettes are a lot smaller too. So especially if you don't want to like like spend money on like 20, 25 pans or something crazy like this, then this way you can try it a little bit more small and easily manageable. And all you need, like if you have a bronzer, you can pop that in the crease and then just have fun with these shades. It's a look all in one palette. And then we have a very similar vibe to that, because I also have a Lisa Eldridge palette that can sort of do what the Girl Cult can do. This is the Sorcery palette, and like this for fall, I mean, come on. This matte combined with these and then these shimmers. I don't love the blue in here. The blue is, it's a bit too bright and vibrant compared to everything else. Like if this had a navy vibe, I would have liked that. But what I tend to do with this whenever I use it, I actually have the dark green eye pencil from Lisa Eldridge that she actually used in a video when she was showcasing some of these products when they first launched. And that's why I bought that combo, because they go so well together. So what I will do is just smudge some of that eyeliner. Any dark green eyeliner will do, of course. You don't need the Lisa Eldridge one. I will smudge that across the top lash line and maybe something on the bottom. And then like use this one as liner to intensify that eyeliner in the end, using something like this all over the lid, or maybe this one, or this one on the bottom lash line. Yeah, I would put this on the bottom lash line, this all over the lid, and then use this one in the inner corner and perhaps like tap this on the center of the lid for like the easiest halo eye of your life. It works every single time. That one's pricey though. And I think the Girl Cult one is a little bit more interesting in terms of texture, but if that's something you can't deal with because you're prone to creasing, I think the Girl Cult one will give you like more creasing than the Lisa Eldridge one. It's the reason why the Lisa Eldridge products are expensive. It's because they are that good. It just is. I really feel with Lisa Eldridge you pay for the formula rather than the name. Another great color story for the fall time, and here we have some warmth again, is the Natasha Denona Mini Zendo. Again, is this still available? I don't know with Natasha Denona. Sometimes things are discontinued like this, and sometimes they keep things around forever. I hope this one is still around. You get these like peachy tones with a cool tone that's beautiful all over the lid or as inner corner highlight, and some depth as well, and you get a blend shade that works. This is just an easy look in a palette, and this for the fall time is absolutely stunning. Then the Nomad, and this is one of their better than palettes, and this is Cheeky Cheeky Garden. You can tell I have a theme here with these more neutral tone things. Like if it skews towards a smoky eye, I don't know why, but I'm really feeling smoky eyes this season. And this is definitely giving that, but it's like a soft smoky eye. You get some purples in here and you get those neutrals. It only has 2 shimmers, which is a bit of a shame. But then it also has this like black that isn't like, it's not the most intense black of your life. It's not going to give you that. But it's actually great if you have fair skin or if you struggle using black eyeshadow to still deepen something up and make things look interesting. So this is definitely a recommendation for the fall time for those people who want something softer, perhaps a little bit more natural, cool toned, and still able to give you that smoky look if you want to push yourself and do it. But this is just going to give you a softer vibe, and I did want to make sure I included something for everyone here. And then the final palette, and this is definitely something I think is going to be perfect for fall. For a second there, I was like Viseart Kashmiri or the Ceraneuse, but I ended up going for the Kashmiri because I think this is absolutely stunning for the fall season. Again, a little bit of warmth, you get the rosy tones. Do you catch my vibe? This is sort of where I want the neutrals to go, and I think that this is beautiful for the fall time. I use it at least a couple of times every single year in the fall time again, and this is the season where I reach for this. So this is what inspired me to include more neutral palettes in here, because with fall, I think it's so easy to think grungy, Halloween, pumpkin spice, you know, all the oranges, all the green tones, maybe with a hint of brown to blend things together, and maybe a purple because it's such a good pairing with a green. But I feel that that's like very overdone, and you can definitely mute things down and make it look a little bit more natural if you have shades like those rosy tones in the Viseart with the mattes and the neutrals that you get in there and the warm tones. So I hope this video gave you a little bit of inspiration of what fall palettes you can go back to in case you have some of these in your makeup collection yourself, or if you were looking to buy a certain color story, that these are the vibes that I'm currently really feeling. Now that I filmed this video, I'm like, I'm really feeling smoky eyes. I really, really am feeling smoky eyes. Which, I don't think there's anything wrong with smoky eyes, don't get me wrong, but it's just really, sometimes I film these videos and I sit down and I select all the palettes and I don't know, and then as I'm talking to you, I'm like, oh, I'm seeing the trend, you know, or I'll like come up with an idea as I'm filming again. So that's just how my brain works. So I hope this wasn't too rambly for you. Thanks so much for joining me here today. Thumbs up the video if you liked it. Subscribe, leave a comment, because all of those things can help out the channel. If you do want to interact with the video, that's like the best way to support the channel. And yeah, thanks so much for being here. I will be back with a new video very, very soon. And then I hope you'd like to stay tuned for more. See you then. Bye-bye.